The Starr and D'Amico Show is brought to you by cheapesttshirts.ca. If you're looking for quality gear without overpaying, shop cheapesttshirts.ca. Huge selection for men, women, and kids. Tees, hoodies, headwear, bags, and more. Proud Montreal business. Order today, ship today, delivery tomorrow. That's cheapesttshirts.ca. Local, fast, and affordable. Brought to you by instacustoms.com. Do you need custom gear from a local Montreal business? Instacustoms.com has you covered. Custom shirts, hoodies, hats, and more made your way. Fast turnaround, great quality, and proudly Montreal-based. Check out instacustoms.com. Brought to you by Cabletel. For trusted alarm systems in Quebec and Eastern Ontario, choose Cabletel. Over 20 years of expert installation and top-tier protection for homes and businesses. Check out Cabletel.com. Email them info@Cabletel.com. It's Cabletel. Peace of mind you can count on. Brought to you by Morella's Steakhouse. Looking for an unforgettable night out? Morella's Steakhouse on Highway 132. It's just 15 minutes from Montreal, serving up premium cuts and bold flavors, and no tax on your bill. Book your table tonight at morellassteakhouse.ca. Taste excellence tonight. Brought to you by Little Bear. Give your pet the best with Little Bear Pet Supply. It's a proudly family-owned business here in Montreal for over 30 years. Chuck, Evie, and their all-star staff have you taken care of with all the top brands at the best prices, and they really care for your pets. Shop online at littlebearonline.com or visit them on St. Catherine across from Westmount Square. It's Little Bear Pet Supply. Brought to you by McLean's Pub. Head over to McLean's Pub, 1210 Peel Street in the heart of downtown Montreal. Great food, cold drinks, and big games on all the screens. McLean's Pub, good times and great company. There's Marco D'Amico. I'm Shaun Starr. Welcome back to Starr and D'Amico. Give us a like and a subscription on youtube.com, wherever you get your favorite audio podcast platforms. Don't forget, Thursday is our mega VIP draw. You and a friend get to go see the Habs and Bruins in primetime seats with luxury transportation to and from the game and $200 to spend at Morella's, where Starr and D'Amico will be live Thursday this week starting at 6 p.m. Here we are talking about, again, very quickly, the Montreal Canadiens go through the trade deadline with no moves. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode as we kind of dissected and gave you our point of view on what happened and what's happening. And Marco teased you at the end of it, because maybe the best move is the one you don't make, with David Reinbacher's name kind of circulating among the highly touted prospects. Well, looky here. I mean, he's become a minute-eating machine. And can we say, Marco, is this young man turned the corner for the Laval Rocket one step closer to the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, I'm always a little I don't want to start propping up the player too much and saying he has arrived or stuff like that, unless it's something a little bit more obvious, like when your success is consistent at the NHL level. Like, for example, Juraj Slafkovsky, I believe he's arrived to a degree, right? So when you look at David Reinbacher, one of the things I like to say is injury affords opportunity. And they've lost 3 notable defensemen in Laval, which is making them lean heavily on Will Trudeau and David Reinbacher. What I enjoy is David Reinbacher has risen to the opportunity. He's playing upwards of 25 minutes a night now in the absence of those defensemen. And they lost another defenseman on Saturday. So, it's not going to change anytime soon. And the Canadiens absolutely do want Laval to make the playoffs, but at the same time, we've been talking about this for a little bit. The 4th, 5th, and 6th defenseman situation right now in Montreal is problematic. Right? I do feel like there's a disbalance. I think we've talked about this. We do not like the pairing of Mike Matheson and Caden Gooley. I don't like Caden Gooley playing on the right.
We saw Jacky and Gooley together on Saturday night in Los Angeles.
I know. Chaos Gazelles. I love them.
Yeah, no kidding.
But when you look at them as a unit, the ideal switch that happens is that you would have a right shot defenseman, which is what the Canadiens were looking for, that comes in on the top 4, pushes Gooley down to left shot number 3, and then you have Carrier complete that defensive pairing on the bottom, and then you'd be a more balanced team, and then Arbor Jacky can come in and out of the lineup. Like, obviously there are options, but David Reinbacher, what I appreciate more now, and I think this is why it could make sense to call him up. I personally wouldn't do it immediately, just because you don't want to kill momentum.
Mm-hmm.
But with David Reinbacher, it's he's he's reacting to his reads faster. The decision making is getting faster. There was a goal on Saturday where he didn't get an assist on it, but the play happened because he killed a play that was getting set up in the neutral zone. He immediately came in, long reach and everything, stops the play, puck goes back the other way, and Laval is able to score the tying goal, I'd say halfway through the third period, and then go on to win that game in the shootout. Like it's clutch plays like that, little elements of his play, and the offense is obviously something that has improved as well. He had himself a pretty good weekend in that regard. He's had himself, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks of really strong play.
You look at his last 3 games, 24 and a half minutes, 24-40, 28-12, a goal and assist, on the plus side of the plus minus, right? Not that we put, a ton of stock into that, but I'd rather be positive than negative. But ultimately, I wish I disagreed with you because, with the Canadiens, not for a variety of reasons, not making the move, I'm kind of good with where they're at now. I think you hit on a key word that I like, and that's momentum. A lot of people reporting on the Rocket that are covering this team, that follow it closer than I do, said this is the best hockey this young man is playing right now.
Oh yeah.
So, like, as much as I believe the Canadiens need help, obviously, to get Goalie back on his natural side, the position on RHD for David Reinbacher, I get why people are like chomping at the bit in order to see him in the Montreal Canadiens. But to me, it's just continue to build off of this. Do you get the sense that the Canadiens are going to call him up this week?
I don't know about this week, just because of the back-to-back nature
Yeah.
and the fact that Laval is playing at home, was playing at home this week, but this weekend, I think they're in Utica, or they're on the road from what I remember. So I don't think so. I don't think this week, but I think we see a David Reinbacher call up before the end of the season, especially if we continue to see, the trio of Arbor Jacki, Jaden Struble, and Alex Carrier continue to struggle, because one of the things that really kind of gets to me when the Canadiens play, obviously less of a problem with Jakub Dobeš because of the way he positions himself, but also with Samuel Montembeault, is the long range shots and the tipping in front.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's asking for that mean crease clearing defenseman, and that's not David Reinbacher. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a gentle soul, but what David does really well, he ties up his players quite easily. He's almost like I'm not gonna call him an octopus, but like, you know what I'm saying. Like, his members are so long. Yeah, he's got a super long reach. His stick is quite long, so he's able to get in on a player and tie him up quite easily in front of the net. That's one of his major strengths. That's an element I feel like the Canadiens are missing on their third pair, being able to eliminate an option. You don't have to, eliminate him physically.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking about this like it's a video game. I'm sorry, guys. But being able to tie him up so he's not an option for tips, so that the player is not in a play in any way, shape, or form. Being able to box them out, because when you play defensively against David Reinbacher and you see that kind of a player coming at you in confidence, it's difficult to play off that kind of defense when you're a forward, because no matter which way you go, he could beat you there quite quickly because of how much space he takes up. Well, I believe that the biggest difference in David Reinbacher's game, there are two of them. One of them is, I think he's realized the amount of space that he takes up on the ice and he utilizes it to his advantage. And number two, when one of the things that David Reinbacher did that used to really get on my nerves when I watched him was his play under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into the boards, he would go to the boards and get the puck, and then would scan and see that he's about to get like someone's coming in for a hit or for the puck, and he would give the puck away, and it would cause a turnover almost every time. And Uri Slafkovsky used to do that all the time in his rookie season. You remember that?
Sure.
And one of the things that Adam Nicholas worked with them about was not going right up to the boards, stopping right before the boards, take the hit, and then move with the puck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think adding that half a second, because he's able to utilize his body to either feel confident enough to make the play or to be able to take the hit to make the play, helps that kind of decision making. And the pucks, the first pass, the zone exits, the success rate has gone up significantly, I would say, over the last month since he's come back from that from his last injury. I think you're starting to see the most consistent, fluid part of his game. And it, for Laval, I think it comes at a perfect time because they are missing a very important defenseman, including Adam Engstrom, who is
Yep.
still out for another couple of weeks. So this is the reason why I don't think they're going to call up David Reinbacher, simply because you would be like, the Canadiens could win games without David Reinbacher. But I think the way that David Reinbacher is playing, he could play in a third pair role in the NHL right now.
I wonder if we'll disagree here. As the Montreal Canadiens season, winds down, and they play 4 times this week. They're both back-to-backs. The Battle of Ontario, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's the Maple Leafs at the Bell Center. Then it's in Ottawa on Wednesday night. And then as the Canadiens wrap up the week, hosting the California teams, San Jose and Anaheim, Saturday and Sunday. And we'll have full coverage right here in Starr and D'Amico. Jakub Dobeš and Sam Montembeault remain a massive question mark for this team. I don't need to tell you or the audience that if this team has average goaltending, when they allow 3 goals or less, they're like 32-1 this season, right? So if they could get, and listen, I understand goaltending has changed in the National Hockey League. I know save percentages are down league wide, so it's not just unique to Montreal, but it's especially unique to Montreal for a couple of different reasons, right? But with Dobeš and Montembeault, I don't know, Marco, is it too dramatic to say, are they running out of racetrack to establish themselves as the goaltender du jour to take them into the playoffs? And I can foresee someone like Jacob Fowler maybe coming in here and trying to put pressure on these guys to level up, or just take the job outright. What do you think about the call-up situation? We just went through Reinbacher. Now let's talk about Jacob Fowler.
I think when it comes to Jakub Dobeš, I think he's fine in his spot. I think as a 1A, 1B kind of scenario for him, I think it's fine. I think the question mark is on Sam Montembeault, because you look at the goals that Dobeš lets in. Outside of that one fluky Scott Lawton goal on Saturday night, I haven't really looked at a game from Jakub Dobeš and going, that goal was an eye roll, of course, but I would rather a goalie get beat like that than the way that Montembeault is getting beat. The point shots that you lose sight of, the improper positioning or the lack of the bad stride and movement to block a shot in tight. Like, Dobeš's reads are perfectly fine for me. It's more like, he plays such an unstructured game. It's kind of entertaining to watch.
I know,
but he gets the job done
athletic,
because he's massive. He's athletic. He is in tip-top shape. Like, that guy is massive. That's why I try to be as friendly as possible. But Jacob Fowler is an interesting one for me, because someone told me once around the organization that they felt that if there was Game 7 in the playoffs, and they hadn't gotten convincing goaltending from either of their goalies, that Jacob Fowler would get the start. That's what they felt.
Wow.
Now, obviously, I don't have Martin St. Louis on my phone. I'm not going to start messaging Canadiens management to get confirmation on this, but just to show you how highly the Canadiens organization thinks of Jacob Fowler. So with that said, I like Jake, and I believe that he could play in the NHL right now. I mean, he was excellent for the Laval Rocket in his return game from his virus on Friday. He was excellent. And again, just the technical reads, how smooth he is, I like him very much. And especially now, the biggest issue with the Canadiens is the sheer amount of back-to-backs. So you're gonna have to play Montembeault.
I know.
You're gonna have to play Dobeš. I have no problem with Dobish, and the Canadians definitely have to like clean up defensively, which is, we finished talking about it. I'm not confident in that third pair, but the third pair isn't the reason that the Canadians are allowing so many goals. They're part of the problem, and I think it's all connected, but it's not the main reason. So I do feel like bringing it, if you had a Dobish Fowler tandem, I think that makes sense. The Canadians have 4 recalls. I need to remind everybody, 4 recalls. And when you call a play, like there's a limit of these. You can only call up 4 players between now and the end of the season. Once the season's over, you can call up whoever you want. The Canadians can call up 1 of Jacob Fowler or David Reinbacher because they're about 900,000 under the cap. If you were to call up both, they'd be over the cap. And so with that in mind, there can only be 1.
And it makes more sense. Like we just talked, David Reinbacher is not the one, right?
Exactly.
They
makes
need
much
better,
more
they
sense.
need better goaltending. End of the story. End of the day. They just need better goaltending. And I don't disagree with your point of view on Jakub Dobish. I mean, he makes big stops. He, like we just finished describing, he recovers his position. He's so athletic. We saw a scorpion-esque save on Saturday night against the LA Kings. But there's something about, I don't know. I mean, I was tired of this storyline, brother, in November. I got to get Montembeault. I mean, what are we talking about in the games left? And there's 4 back-to-backs before the end of the regular season in mid-April. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets called up before April.
Oh, I've said it. I think he's getting games before the end of the season.
Yes.
Whether that's because the Canadians qualified for the playoffs and they want to rest some guys, whether it's to help them in the final push to get a playoff spot, I think we see Jacob Fowler. I'd say it's more likely we see Jacob Fowler than David Reinbacher.
In March or April?
Yes.
Excellent answer.
But I will say this. I wouldn't exclude the idea of seeing either before the end of the season. I wouldn't.
Bro, I mean, those Monty goals Friday in Anaheim, man. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. But you have right now, like I said, you have no choice. Thankfully, they come back to this side of the world. Today, in fact. So it's a different beast. But I feel like because of the cap implications as well, one of the main reasons they wanted to trade Patrick Laine as well was to have that kind of flexibility this late in the season. I just don't know what they would do. And so I think Jacob Fowler makes more sense, especially if they get another stinker from Sam Montembeault.
Sure.
I know a lot of people want to shoot him into the moon.
He's playing twice this week. He's going to play twice. He'll probably play I would give him the Toronto game. Ottawa has more value to it when they play Ottawa on Wednesday. I mean,
I would definitely give him the Toronto game.
Right.
I would definitely give him the Toronto game. But
and then it's what, Anaheim and what, San Jose, Saturday, Sunday?
Exactly. But people watching this right now will know because the game is today.
Yeah.
I'm of the mind that Montembeault should get today's game. We'll see at the moment of you watching this whether or not he did. Dobish would get Ottawa for me because Ottawa is closer and it's more important. And they're the hotter team right now. The Toronto Maple Leafs are on a free fall, though, as we know with the Canadiens, that's often a trap.
No doubt.
So again, I think Jacob Fowler before David Reinbacher.
All right. Keep it locked to Starr and D'Amico. Like and subscribe as always. Support us by supporting our sponsors. The link to all of our sponsors are in the description of this video. CheapestT-shirts.ca, Insta Customs, The Real Deal on Peel, McLean's Pub, the best in home security at Cabletel, and the Steakhouse of Starr and D'Amico. We'll see you there Thursday at 6 p.m. If you're in the neighborhood, come by and say hello. Say hi. You will not regret. Ugh. Good talking, Shaun. You're not going to regret anything you have to eat or drink. It's a beautiful restaurant with unbelievable food. It's Morella's Steakhouse. We'll see you Thursday night. Thanks, Marco.
Have a great day, everybody.